to the showcase for iteration 22. We had a pretty successful iteration in terms of velocity. We covered 20 points against the plan of 20 points, so it was good. I'll just brief you through the highlights of this iteration. So with Ron here, we detailed out all the consistency checker reports, we analyzed them. And also in this iteration, what we did was we completed 2 of them, in fact. So we will showcase those 2 consistency checker reports in today's iteration. The other major functionality that was worked on was the enhancement to the user. So we have done searching of a user by the username, resetting of a user's password via the admin, and disabling of the user as well. We continued working on the CommTrack integration APIs also in this iteration. Another track was exclusively working on the offline capability for VRMIS basically. So the story we are going to showcase today is display facility list screen. With that, you will be able to see the offline capability also that has been developed for VRMIS. Another significant point or milestone that we achieved in this iteration was multi-language support that is already built in the previous iteration now can be supported via the UI. So it is the user's preference now given on the UI on what language would he like to see OpenLMIS in. We also had detailed discussions on the order and shipment file configuration. We will be playing those stories in this coming iteration. And we also started discussion on the budget feature for OpenLMIS. I'll now hand it over to Rahul to take us through the list of stories that we developed in this iteration.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul here. So the first story that we'll demonstrate would be 935, in fact 927, which is select your preferred language. So if you guys can see the screen, you'll notice that we are on the login page, and is it visible? Can you see this? Oh, okay. So on the login screen, if you notice on the top left, top right, there's an option to change the locale. The default one that I'm using right now is the English, but there are options for other locales as well, like this one for Portuguese. And as soon as you click on it, all the messages gets picked up from that particular local file. So right now the translation that we have done here is not correct. We have used the Google translation to just get all these messages translated into Portuguese language. There's also another option to see the application in Spanish language as well. With this thing in place, all it takes to add another language would be just a translation file containing all the messages in there. And just by adding that local file in the system will start picking up that particular locale as well. For the demo purpose, I'll keep it to the English locale. This option of changing language is available throughout the application on all the pages. For instance, if you had login with admin, on the admin homepage also on the top right, you can see these options available. And just like what happens on the login page, you can anytime change your location and see all the navigation and messages according to that location. That was all 927. The next story would be 934, which is searching user by their username. So earlier, the way we were searching user was on the first name, last name, and on the email address. Lately, we have added this particular feature of searching user on the username as well. So on the manage user, search user screen, you can type the username that you want to search. I'll LMU in charge is one of the username that we use. As in below, you can see that the search result matching this particular criteria appear. If you search for LMU, there are two users which has LMU in their username. Both of the user appear. Clicking on that user takes us to the same old edit user page. The next story, so this was pretty small story. The next story is 935, which is reset user password, which is if some user forget their password, their login password, they can always contact admin. Then admin can, on their behalf, reset the password for them. So if you hover over these user search results, on the right hand side, you can see there are two options visible: the edit and reset password. The edit is the default action. So if you click on this link, that's where it takes you on the edit page. And if you want to change the password, you can always click on the reset password link, which prompts you for new passwords. There are some basic checks in place, like password can't be shorter than 8 characters. In case if I just have less than 8 digits in there, it will show the message like it needs to be of this length, should not contain spaces, and needs to have at least one number in it. So if you do, so let's say I change the password. This is LMU. On matching all the criteria, prompts a success message. And do we send a mail in case? No, we don't. Okay. So now the user can, the admin can let the user know about their new password, and then they can log in with that. This was 935. The next story is 913, disable user. So let's say for the same user, if you go to the edit page, on your right hand side, you can see there's a disable button. This disable button is something similar to what we did earlier for facilities, wherein as soon as you disable a facility, that facility no longer is used in system for any operation, especially things related to the equations. In case of user, if you disable a particular user, that user will no longer be able to perform any action on the system. It is already logged in some browser on some machine. As soon as admin disables his account, his current session will be expired. And if he tries to log in again, he won't be able to do it. There's a confirmation box. So once you click disable, if I say okay, I want to disable it, this account is disabled. For the time being, we have disabled all the fields for the user, but there are I think there's a story coming up where we'll let the admin still modify user even if it's a disabled user or inactive user. If the user is in disabled state or in inactive state, the disable button disappears. Instead of that, there's a restore button. On click of restore, this user will again be back to active state, which means that user can again log in to the system with the same username and password. We don't send any reset password. Anything else you want to talk about disable users?
Yes, fine.
Okay. So this was 413, disable user. The next story would be 774, display facility list page. Where does this come?
So you basically log in as field coordinator.
Okay. So this for the VRMIS functionality. So let's log in with a guy who has managed distribution right. That would be field coordinator. So on top nav, there's an option for managing distribution. Once you click on that, you get to a page where you can select the combination for delivery zone, program, and period. And if there are already few distributions which are cached on this particular browser, you can view them on the table given below. In case I choose a different combination, delivery zone, program, and let's say January 2013, I can have an option of initiating a distribution for that particular combination. As soon as I do that, it gives me a message that this distribution has been now, all the data for that particular combination, which is required to show or to fill the data, is already cached or downloaded to this particular browser. And if you notice, there's a new row added on the table given below. This was for Sul province vaccines program and January 2013 period. If you try to again select same combination and do initiate again, you'll get an appropriate message that this combination is already cached. Now, if this record data option, which is given below, can totally work in an offline scenario. I won't be able to show you this offline, but if you can log into the UAT environment, you can very well check this particular feature. So as soon as you click on that record data, you'll land to a particular page where you'll see what all facilities are part of that particular delivery zone. Those facilities are listed, sorted on their districts. If you select a particular facility, you get an option in terms of what all forms you can, or what all data you can fill that for that particular facility. There's also data in terms of facility name, what delivery zone, what program, and what period this distribution belongs to. So there are stories currently in play which will let you fill data related to refrigerator. I think other than that, we haven't started on anything else. So this change of facility will or the select of these facilities totally supported in offline mode, wherein you are not connected to the server. All that data is being served from your browser cache. That's another browser. Yeah, we can also try to do this from a different browser. And on this particular browser, you can see there are 3 distributions already cached in there. And let me log in with same user on a different browser. Yeah, so on this particular browser, the last time the user was there, he just cached the data for one distribution, which you can see on the table below. And let's say he also chooses the same combination, which is Sul province vaccine program, and period would be Jan 2013. And I say initiate distribution. I get a message that this combination or this particular distribution was already initiated by field coordinator user, which is the same user, on what particular date. This will hint this particular user that if this distribution is already initiated by somebody on some machine, and if he also tries to perform this action, there are chances that while at the time of syncing the data, they can be conflict. But if he still wants to go ahead with this particular combination, you can say okay. And now if you notice, there's another row added on the table below. So this combination now exists in both the browser's cache. And again, this guy can still go ahead and fill in the data for that particular facility or any facility in that delivery zone. Okay, and what else? Yeah, that's pretty much from this particular stories. To the next. There's a story 897, right? This is for the FM feed for facility list. So as soon as is it for facility list or facility audit?
Yes. So basically for CommTrack, we're using that as a list of all the OpenLMIS facilities which they will be using to map their community file workers. So each CSW will be mapped to a unique parent facility ID, which we will be providing via this facility. Cool. So if a new facility is added to the system or if any update is made on a facility, so this feed will be triggered with the desired update.
I'll log in with the admin user. Let's go and edit one of the existing facilities, let's say F10B. And let's say I change one of the attributes for that facility. Let's say now this facility is supported by NGO. This will also. And I save this particular facility. Now there's a particular URL on which we push all the event happening to that happened to facility. So if you refresh this particular URL, you notice that there's a new entry coming in this particular atom feed. This is for the facility ID, facility code F10B. This is the facility that we just checked. In case we mark a facility inactive, right?
Yeah.
So these, so any of these change in any of these attribute will trigger an event being pushed to that particular facility. So I just marked this facility inactive, saved it, and if I refresh my feed URL, you can see there's another entry being pushed in here for the facility which I just added. Zoom in a bit to make sure this is visible. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's mark it active. Okay. There was another story 931, which is another item feed. This one is for any change in program product combination.
Yeah. So OpenLMIS is a system of reference for a program and product. So as soon as the status of a product changes at program level, or if a new product is added to a program, so OpenLMIS will trigger this feed, which will inform CommTrack about the changed program, and CommTrack will use our REST API to get a catalog for that updated program. REST API will be covered in next session. As part of this session, we cover this program. So next two stories are related to consistency checker that Dijesh mentioned. So with Ron being here, we detailed out 6 to 7 validation stories that are important to making sure the consistency in the system. For example, if a facility is not mapped to a equation group for a program, so RNRs cannot be initiated. Similarly, if an active user doesn't exist on a supervisory node with approved rights, so an RNR will always be pending there for approval. So these are some of the validations that admin needs to make sure that there is no missing link in the system. So we'll be providing some sample reports with these validations as part of our deployment. As part of this iteration, we covered 2 validation checks. First one is unassigned recursion group, which will give the list of all the active or inactive facilities which are not mapped to a recursion group for their supported programs. So we
have already uploaded these 2 reports in the system. And, while uploading a report, you can always name them accordingly. If you do adding, it gives you an option in terms of what name you want to give to that report and its configuration template. before the demo, we have already uploaded reports in there.
We'll be providing all these validation report as part of the data updated in the system. So admin can run this consistency check to verify that there is no missing link in the system. So as you can see, here is a list of STTs. So I'll just take the first row, which says Central Hospital F12 is not mapped to any requisition group for its program Essential Medicine. So admin can take a desired action looking into these errors to map this facility to the desired requisition group so that RNR can proceed further. In this story, there is sorting based on the status of the facility. So active facilities will come first, which are followed by inactive. And second level of sorting is based on geographical zone and the last two tiers of geographical zone. And the last level sorting is on the facility code. So this is the first validation report. Second one is related to delivery zone. So if no active user with managed distribution rights is assigned to a delivery zone, so a user cannot initiate a trip without that right for a delivery zone. So I'll just update. So here's a list of delivery zones which do not have any active user with managed rights mapped to them. So seeing these records, admin need to make sure that at least one user should be assigned to DZ5, 4, and 3 so that the trips can be initiated for these delivery zones. So these are just two validation reports that we have completed in this iteration. We'll be continuing other validations as part of the combination. So with that, we've come to the end of the showcase for iteration 22. And as usual, if you have any questions or queries, we would request you to send them to Ron and he would pass them on to us. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Okay, thank you.